something which I believe is quite clear to me now, and I feel like the longer it goes on, this it's like the fitness industry. The longer it goes on, the understanding. Whenever you go to the gym, everybody's training so well now. Everybody's training so well, and I feel like everybody's starting to understand that if you chase the money, if you chase like these big payouts, most times it's not going to work out. What people struggles the most in the journey in the gym is patience and not being able to stick to it for a long enough time. There was a guy that was saying the only trader that fails is the trader that quits.
Cool. So I was asking, you said do you trade with friends? Do you have a group of people you trade with, or
No, it's like the journey started together, and
yeah,
then each of us took their own separate routes. But initially, with a few friends that are software developer, we sort of started with developing some little algorithm that helped us getting in better positioning in the market, and then but we are individual doing this. We trade we prop firms and we trade our own capital as well. So
nice. You're very lucky. A lot of people start the journey by themselves. Nobody believes in them. Everyone thinks it doesn't work. So yeah, it's really nice to hear that you had people to do it with.
well, a few of them kind of dropped out. It's only me and another two guys that are still doing it, but it was initially a few of us, and most of them kind of dropped out because they didn't really stick to it for as long as we did. But yeah,
Yeah,
no, it was good to have that sort of support circle around.
amazing. Cool. So how long have you been trading with prop firms for?
It must have been like a year now, which was
Nice.
very good to find out because I got here very late to the party because I didn't know about it for a very long time. Even though I know that prop firms like I don't know if I can mention others, like I'm sure you're aware about FTMOs, which are probably the biggest,
Yeah.
and I guess your is pretty new. How long has it been around for? ThinkCapital.
Yeah, not too long. I think about a year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, it all started with FTMO. Then I traded with Alpha Capital, which is a UK-based prop firm as well. Think Capital is also UK-based, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So the broker were backed by Think Markets. They've been in the space for quite a long time.
yeah, yeah. That was the thing that drew me towards Think Capital, which was like the prop firm that was backed by a broker. So I felt like it could have been a very yes young but more secure because
Yeah.
I'm sure you're aware about some of the prop firm that have gone bust or
Yeah.
denied payouts. To be honest, I've been always very lucky. As with FTMO, with the Alpha Capital, and with you guys, I never had any issue of uh, denied payouts. There has been quite a bit of an issue initially with the prop firm, though, where they didn't really like the approach that I was having
Yeah.
with trading, which is a little bit controversial, to be honest, for me, because you could argue that those were safe way of trading, but definitely ever since I've been trading with Think Capital, I haven't received any complaint yet. So I believe that it's really helping me under this aspect is in helping me being a little bit more conservative,
Yeah.
therefore even more safe with the approach that I'm taking with trading. And to be honest, I'm seeing the improvement because I'm a little bit more relaxed and I sleep better at night when normally in the past I wouldn't be sleeping that well at night, mainly in times like the one that we're going through at the moment, like with Trump and the tariffs. So, um,
Yeah.
but yeah,
No, it's really frustrating when you try a prop firm and they say, trade the way you want to, and then all of a sudden it's not okay.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, that's one of the great things about Think Capital is there's no consistency rule. I think the only thing you really need to focus on is your risk and exposure to news and stuff like
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
So it really gives traders like the room to kind of find their style, which is nice. So yeah, I'm glad you're sleeping easier.
Are you also involved into the trading aspect, or you just talk to people
Yeah.
that trade? Yeah.
Yeah, I've been trading prop firms for about 4 or 5 years.
Oh, prop firm for this much
Well,
time.
actually, No, I've been trading for 6 years, but I found prop firms in 2021. I think it was maybe
Okay.
2020. So like
Oh, and
4 years.
what was the one that you started with?
The four-letter one as well.
Which one? The one that I.
FTM.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
okay, okay.
yeah. It wasn't long after that where all these other prop firms started popping up. So
Hmm.
um, yeah, no, I spent the first few years trading small personal accounts. I never realized prop firms were a thing. But did you start trading personal capital?
Yes, I
Yeah,
I was very lucky initially because I had few people that I met that decided to put some of their money to build a bigger account, which I managed and I keep on managing. So the prop firm thing is that something again to enlarge my
capital.
portfolio,
Yeah,
but I'm finding it very helpful. The thing that initially I was very concerned with ThinkCapital was the payout situation that wasn't still available, just the normal bank transfer, and
mm,
I sort of was panicking a little bit in thinking, oh, this is not going to go well. But the process is not that hard. The crypto transfer, and I've also
yeah,
been sort of tempted into using those funds coming through crypto form to then leverage those as well. But then I was like, no, I don't understand crypto as much as I wish I did. So yeah, it's my first thing to do as soon as I receive the funds in crypto, just to transfer them back in cash and
yeah.
carry on using them like in the way I know, which is like through the forex.
Yeah, no, definitely. There's another method as well where you can use your profits from the prop firm to deposit into a Think Markets personal account. So if like building your own capital is something that you want to do maybe in the future, you can instead of withdrawing it to your crypto wallet, you can put it into a personal account and scale up that way, which is great. So there's a couple of different options there.
Like straight into an account on MT5, for example.
Yeah, so
Okay.
if you have a personal account with Think Markets, because we're backed by Think Markets as
Oh
kind
yeah,
of the
yeah, yeah.
branch,
So
you
on
can
that on that sort of broker. So if I had an account on the Think Capital broker, no, Think
Think
Trading,
Markets.
Think Markets. Yeah,
A lot of think.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so yeah, that's an option. I think that's one of our main, selling points is some traders aren't sure whether to scale up in the prop firm space or scale up a personal account, whereas this way you can do both at the same time.
yeah. But it's always has always interested me building, and I was very pleased to receive the email in you guys wanting to talk to me. I'm not gonna be saying anything particular. I'm not some sort of genius. How many people have you interviewed so far, and where you can find
Oh,
this interview?
God
Many.
knows, like maybe 20, 30.
20 today.
No, no, not
Oh, in
today. This
general.
is the first one this week. Yeah.
Okay. Many smart people.
No, you're like you're fine. You're not. I think people want to see, traders that they can relate to.
Yeah.
If I was watching an interview for someone who was managing 7 million, like it's hard to relate to people like that. Whereas, most of the people watching this are, maybe that's their first funded account or it's more
Yeah.
relatable.
I found though, like I'm at the moment on to 7 account with Team Capital, but something that I didn't read before and that I was kept onto how many account or how much money I could manage with a certain software. So I
Yeah,
ended up managing free. I mean, I ended up passing like 6 or 7 challenges, but then I eventually got brought back down to only the one of choice, which I believe it was if I was having MT5 and Think Trader
yeah,
accounts, they all only brought me down to MT5. So at the moment, I'm managing the free accounts of MT5, which I believe is the maximum allowance, 300K. But I'm very interested in trying to scale up with the company. I want to try and get involved into the company, like under
yeah.
this aspect. And
Yeah. So when you're trading with Think Trader, the maximum allocation is actually 600 now. I believe it's 300 with MT5,
Yeah,
but if you have ThinkTrader accounts, you can do
I do
6,000
have
or
those
600.
too. I do have those, but by default they set me back into the MT5, which I believe
Right.
is the lowest account, and also the one on the 600k.
Hmm.
They were all Lightning accounts, so I don't know if there was a reason
Okay.
behind. But yeah, my aim right now, because I've been honest with the previous prop firm, I never really thought about trying to be consistently growing and growing in order to then be selected for the scaling of the account
Yeah.
specifically. Yeah, this is definitely my aim on this prop firm. I want to see if I can get consistently over the course of the next 6 7 months,
Yeah.
and see if I can receive another email telling me that you might want to get me in a better position.
Yeah, I love that. I love that you have long-term vision. I think a lot of traders' downfall is they're just focused on the next payout and trying to make that payout as big as possible. But I
No,
think having that long-term vision of what you where you want to be with these accounts in 6 to 7 months from now, do you find thinking long-term like that helps you to trade your accounts, like make better decisions?
what I found is that if you that's something which I believe is quite clear to me now, and I feel like the longer it goes on, this it's like the fitness industry. The longer it goes on, um, the understanding, everybody, whenever you go to the gym, everybody's training so well now. Everybody's training so well, and I feel like everybody's starting to understand that if you chase the money, if you chase like these big payouts, most times it's not going to work out. So
Yeah.
having had this understanding, I believe helped me to pass all of the challenge that I had undergone. And again, the fact that I was talking about before, like sleeping better at night, because if you chase big payouts or big money, most time it's
It
not going to
runs
work out.
away.
It's just going to ruin your life. You're not going to sleep at
Yeah.
night, and everything is going to go badly. So having a longer term goal definitely helps, at least for me.
Nice. Yeah, that's amazing. So you prioritize quality of life now over
it,
profits.
it translates into profit. That's the
Yeah, yeah,
that's the best thing, because
yeah,
I don't want to fall into the cliche talk like the revenge trading and all these sort of things. The basic things that people should understand that are not supposed to be done are generally the
yeah,
things that are the downfall of every person that tries to undertake this path. So I've also gotten into ever since I started the journey of trading, I've undergone university study regarding economy and finance, which it's a
nice.
passion of mine, but I understand that it doesn't really translate. So it's a lot more of a mind game rather than a very technical and understanding. Yeah, it's not that much of a technical aspect to it rather than a psychological aspect of at least the way I see it, or the
Yeah,
way I believe it worked out the best for me.
nice. So are you in university at the moment? Are you doing studies?
Yeah, yeah, I am still
Nice.
doing the
So
studies.
do you think that having other goals to focus on outside of trading helps you to not overtrade?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
There was a time when those people invested a lot of money into the account, and we started making a lot of money. Something that I wasn't accustomed to, and
Mhm.
it really played it the worst way possible, the worst way
Mhm.
possible. Ever since I took a step back, and I was having this conversation with my friends just yesterday, and I was saying an objective, a goal into your life, whatever it is, it can be archery, it can be whatever. It's
Mhm.
necessary. It's necessary
Yeah.
because if you fall into like boredom, mainly with this sort of job
Mhm.
is the end. You have to
Yeah.
be able to see this as a job. You have to be able to see this as a risk management job. You can't see it as the thing that is going to make me a lot of money. And you have to be able to cut off and carry on with things that you consider very important. Because if it's just this, you're going to keep chasing, and it's not just not going to play out
Yeah.
too well. I guess that's
Yeah,
something that
definitely.
what is something that you built on side? in order not to keep your
outside of the
mind
chart?
always. Yeah,
I do study a lot. I've got a lot of different courses. Like I sign up for like fitness courses, psychology. Like I study a lot, and then try to do a workout every day, even if it's just a walk, listening to a podcast. I do think it's important to have goals outside of trading, because if your only goal for the day is to make 2% profit and you don't like, it's the market conditions aren't in your favor,
you
you're
will
gonna feel
feel
like
like you
you'll
miss.
feel
Yeah,
crap. Yeah, I shouldn't. You won't feel good. I'll probably have to cut that out. So I think it's important that you have like a list of goals in a day. Like I want to achieve maybe a 5-10K run. I want to achieve decluttering the apartment. I want to achieve like finishing these 2 videos. So at least if you don't achieve your trading goal for the day because the market isn't in your favor, market conditions, at least you have other things to like help you feel productive and successful
yeah,
in yourself. I think it's important to have a to-do list that doesn't just revolve around trading objectives, because we can't control what the market does. Like if we come onto the charts with a 2% profit goal, we have no control over that. The market will do what it wants,
yeah,
whereas we have control over how good of a workout we do in the gym, or
yeah,
how clean our apartment is. So yeah, I think it's important to have a list of goals of things that you can control the outcome of.
yeah. This is very different for me. Like, I've never have I never had the pleasure of having a conversation regarding this topic with a female. It's like in this industry, it's so hard to find a person, a female, that can. I don't know. Do you find the same? Like,
Yeah, we're definitely outnumbered.
yeah, this is just weird to have this conversation with a female.
Yeah, yeah. Um, okay, so you've been trading for 5 to 6 years now. What would you say has been your biggest obstacle, and how did you overcome it?
I guess understanding what we just spoke about, like whenever I got into heavily into trading, and I find a fortune initially that allowed me to step away from my previous employment, and starting to, I found that the classic learning curve happened exactly the way they play it out, which is initially very steep and then it falls. So initially,
Yeah.
it's very everything seems so easy, everything seems so smooth, and then it kind of flattens out, and then it drops, and then it drops, and you
Mm,
only understand that the sustainable way to be into this line of work is to be mentally strong enough to not having to keep chasing and be there, so finding other things. And I don't remember when it was last time that I fell back into the trap, which is like whenever things go wrong, you start chasing, 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 and eventually you make it worse, worse, and worse. Because it's been a while, so I'm glad things are kind of setting in. Because many times I found myself like, okay, I'm learning this, I don't have to do that, and then eventually you do it again, and then you do it again. So I guess that is definitely been the hardest part of the journey. I still feel like I'm gonna have to deal with that a few other times, maybe in a less frequent way. But yeah, I guess patience and understanding and learning how to step away from
mm,
the situation every once in a
yeah,
while has been crucial. And then I hope nobody makes a lot of money all of a sudden, because that's gonna definitely be hard for them
yeah.
to deal.
Yeah, definitely. I had my one of my biggest trades on a funded account, like ever, and I spiraled for like 2 months after that. So I think it's important for new traders to understand that big profits don't necessarily equal, like happiness or fulfillment. It actually makes you worse for a while.
Yes, yes. When you
Yeah,
make a big trade, a lot of money, it's like yes, that yes lasts like 2 seconds. You're like, "Fuck, no." It's like a drug. It's almost like a drug. If you
yeah,
can learn how to microdose, I mean, like just a little, little, little. You make a little one, you lose a little one, you make a little one. It's so much better. It's so much better.
yeah,
Because in
yeah,
the long run, it's still gonna make you good money. But
yeah.
if you blow up at the beginning or at any stage, you then wanna have that again, and it's really hard to handle.
Yeah, definitely. So how would you describe your strategy to new traders? Like, how do you read the market? What's basically your confirmations? Like, how do you identify a good setup?
Um, I was mentioning before, I'm also a software developer.
Mm,
We coded in C sharp over an MT4 account, a little algorithm, which is like a little cluster, basically. It reads a bunch of indicator, the true volume value, moving averages. It does read also the Ichimoku, but we don't. I don't know if you're aware about the Ichimoku
mm,
signal, but basically gives us a little signal. The way I would read it is it's consistently on the 15 minutes chart the way I would personally read it, and then I will use the confirmation, the algorithm as a confirmation. But I'm very basic in terms of how would I take a trend, a trade. It will still try not be following the trend. I will still be waiting for confirmation of the moving averages, which then collides with my algorithm call anyway. So yeah, it's not
nice.
really complicated.
I feel like the best strategies are simple though.
Yeah, they are.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
So
never
would you
seen
say?
I never seen anybody with a very complicated strategy. The only thing that I might be saying is that um, volume reading can be effective.
Mm,
Footprint charts, I'm not a fan of. I never understood really what they can. Yeah, you can see the volumes of what people are buying and selling, but you can see that too late anyway.
yeah.
So it comes down always to like the consistency of a strategy where you don't keep on bouncing back and forward from strategy to strategy, which is then gonna ruin your edge, which is like trying to
Yeah.
stand still on one move and then repeat it to then eventually have the long term effect of being consistently profitable.
Yeah, definitely. And have you back tested or like built data or anything like that? Or have you just practiced, in the live markets?
The backtest only happened when we tried to create the algorithm,
Mm,
but strangely enough, never really gave us a confirmation, as he still doesn't give it to us today, to to the point that we understood that the reality of things is not that you're going to create the best algorithm that is always going to be right. It's always going to come down to money management. So you still want to stay with your rate of profit higher than your rate of loss,
yeah.
and again, consistently trying to keep hold of yourself when things don't go your way so that things don't get ruined in the long run. Because the thing that I believe people struggle to understand, as of myself at the beginning, is that no matter how bad the day seems to be going, tomorrow is different. The day after is
Yeah.
different again, and then you will always have an opportunity to make it back, but not
Mm,
necessarily today, not necessarily when your mind is frustrated. When your mind is frustrated, you better let it go because today will feel impossible. Tomorrow, suddenly, you'll be able to make it all back with some more. So
yeah.
it still comes down always to the mind. It still comes down to be patient under that point of view, and being patient on to holding the trade when he's winning and to let go of the trade when he's losing, probably even earlier than what you were planning to hold it to.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's very easy for traders to continue trading when they're in tilt. But I used to be quite bad for it. You felt frustrated, you just want to keep trading. But I spoke to someone about this and he said, think back to all the times you've traded in tilt where you've been angry. Like, has it ever worked out well? And the answer was no, like it never works out well. So there's no point in even trying. Just I love that. Just reset, come back the next day.
Yeah, and whenever something happened, I don't know, in the past when still I was emotional, but I somehow managed to say, "Okay, I don't want to look at it anymore," and I didn't, and I just took my loss. And the day after, it was so much better. As I said, like it
Yeah.
felt like that day I was never gonna get back that 1% which I lost that I lost, and the day after was like 3-4%. So
Yeah.
it's really important to give yourself like some sort of time limit or a maximum of loss that you want to take within the day and just stick to that because the day after
Yeah.
or the days after opportunity will arise for you to be able to get back in the market and profit from it.
Yeah. definitely. So your algo, it tells you how to get into a trade, but does it tell you when to exit a position, or
No,
do you
no,
have
no,
to?
no, no.
No.
It's a very, very basic cluster, which by now, after looking at it for so many years, I have two different setups. On a setup, I don't have the algorithm. I
Mm-hmm.
can basically predict when the algorithm will give me the cluster entry
Yeah.
without even looking at it. So, in terms of the exit point, I will stick to the pivot points generally, or just the previous highs, because mostly I try to trade within ranges, and ranges will give you top position, bottom position where you want to stand within, and so you
Yeah.
will. I don't try to predict breakouts. I Yeah, I don't try to ever predict breakouts. I would rather always lose the possible breakouts, but take the profit where my topping happens, and I'm like, fine.
Yeah.
Then it explodes up, whatever.
Yeah. And what pairs do you focus on?
Um, the pairs that I focus on are pound dollar. In the past, there has been like various pairing that I've been testing, and I settle onto pound dollar. Pound dollar is just like it works the best for me. I
Yeah.
did do take few trades over the period of the tariffs over the S&P 500. I guess everybody did. The biggest trade of my life was during the pandemic when the oil collapsed, and that's when it all
Mhm.
started. So the oil went below zero. I don't know if you can remember.
Yeah, I remember that. I went into minus.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
luckily enough, I didn't get in before that, and I got in right after that, and I got at the very few dollars. I was at, I believe it was around $8, and I got out around like 60. So it was a
Yeah.
massive trade, and that was one of my first trades, which I was telling you about. It was timing with the COVID pandemic, and these people investing money was, yeah, very, it was very strange.
Yeah, that was around the time I started taking trading seriously. I remember Bitcoin being at around 5,000,
Oh God!
oil being minus, and I just sat at the sidelines and watched it all. It's one of
Oh,
my
you
biggest
didn't?
regrets.
Oh, you? Yeah.
No, I didn't, because I was still learning at the time. So no, I didn't really get involved, but I really regret it now.
Yeah, yeah. The guy that sort of invested money initially was probably a friend, friend, neighbor of yours. You're Scottish, right?
Irish.
Irish. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Very people get mixed up.
Yeah,
Yeah, Northern Irish, so it's similar.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, like there was this guy that I remember bought Bitcoin under my suggestion around 5,000. I think it got out when it dropped back to 3,000. A few days later, it was like 70,000. I was like, yeah, man. People have missed out on a lot of
Yeah,
money in that time.
yeah, definitely. So you've mentioned ThinkTrader. You trade MT5 now, is that right?
At the moment, that's all I'm allowed to trade.
Yeah. How did you find ThinkTrader when you were using it? Did you use desktop or the app?
Both the app on the phone and the desktop on the laptop. Not as intuitive as I would have hoped it to be. It was easier on the app than on the
Yeah.
software, and I'm a software developer. So if it wasn't that intuitive for me, I can imagine for other people. In fact, what I would have seen in the past was that most of the reviews regarding ThinkTrader software were like they didn't know how to use it, and most times they made mistakes in the lot size. I've done that too.
Yeah.
But after the first few trades, it was okay. Still, probably because I've been using MT4, MT5 forever now, that I
Yeah.
would change it. At the moment, I'm trading MT5 just because it's the only one that I'm allowed to trade. But if I had Team Trader, I would have traded just fine that one as well. Because I still do my analysis on other charts. I don't do the analysis onto the Team Trader
You
chart.
do analysis on
Yeah, I
trading
do.
view?
I do it on the MT4 where I have my indicators.
Yeah.
I just
Nice.
open
Okay.
the, the trades.
So I think you've maybe covered the next question, but it's how do you stay disciplined and keeping your emotions under control when trading? Do you journal your trades at all,
Nah,
or
I
is it?
I never understood, to be honest, like these people journaling. I don't understand what it is for. I
Yeah,
don't get it. Maybe you could tell me. Do you do that?
yeah. I love journaling. To be fair,
Why? What do you do? How do you work?
I think it really helps you to identify patterns because showing up each day without keeping account of your trades or your mindset, it's really easy to repeat the same mistakes over and over and over again. And it can make you feel like you're just going in circles. So I feel like it's really good for people who maybe need to develop self awareness or maybe are trying to still figure out their edge. I do feel like it's good. For example, if you're journaling, even it doesn't like need to be a journal, it could be just recording analytics and like trade seller or something. Like you might find that most of your losses are on Mondays or Asian session, like stuff like
So
that. So
you wouldn't just talk about the way you feel, the way you're
I do that a
performing,
lot.
but you will also say, okay, Monday not good. For example, I know Friday, no matter what happens, no matter what
Yeah,
happens, the best setup ever is gonna lose me money.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
unbelievable. I believe it's now installed into my mind. On Friday, you press that button, you will lose money. So I stopped doing that, no matter what I do.
Yes. Yes, so that's backed with data. I think it's a lot easier to make good quality decisions when you have data that supports it. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, no, I definitely try to record stuff like that as well. Or I find that, you know, if I set my risk to reward to 1 to 4, 1 to 5, like it increases my win rate by like 25% rather than letting it run because sometimes when I let
Why
trade.
would you get trade for longer than 1 to 5?
Yes, but then it's a matter of spending hours deciding should I close it, should I not? And you're exhausting your willpower. Like I read in a book somewhere that you can only really force your brain to make a certain amount of decisions a day. And
Yeah.
then those decisions go from good quality to bad quality. So my whole process has been trying to eliminate the amount of decisions I make. And I can do that by backing up with data and,
So you will
have.
follow a trade all the way. You will follow a trade for as long as it stays in the trade, or you will let it go and just go on about your day.
Depends if it's a really good entry, and then I'll hold it.
But what is the
It's still
time? What's the time frame that you're trading?
so I used to trade 1 minute. That only works well using the higher time frame for analysis first, figuring out trend, and then going to the lower time frames. But that worked really well for me until I wasn't in the right headspace,
Hmm.
and then it went bad really quickly. So now I think the lowest I would tend to go is 15 minute, unless I'm looking to see how price reacts to a level, then I'll go to 5 minute. But um for just watching the market and waiting for it to hit levels, I would stay on like the 1 hour. I'm intraday, so I'm usually in and out within like a few hours.
Still on the
Um,
1 minute though.
no, no, 15 minute, 15
Okay.
minutes the lowest I've been using this week. Yeah.
No,
What
one
time
minute.
frame do you use?
Yeah, pretty much 15 minutes. I will
Yeah.
space between 15 minutes and the hour, but the hour will just see how it plays out. But the entry will be on the 15 minutes because
Yeah.
15 minutes is where the algorithm has been shown to have the highest rate of
Yeah.
success.
Yeah.
But 1 minute for me is inconceivable. Like
Yeah.
everything moves
I feel
so
like the one
fast.
minute only worked for me when I was already on the charts watching price for a few hours that day. Like if I jump onto the charts and go to the 1 minute, I have no idea. There's too much noise.
Yeah.
It's only good. Lower time frames are only good if you know what's happening on the higher time frames.
What
If you
what
know,
pairs though?
just gold
It's
against the
gold.
US
Oh my
dollar.
god, you're crazy.
Yeah,
Gold moves so much.
adrenaline junkie.
Wow. 1 minute on gold.
I done really well with it last year, but since then I've upped the time frames.
Yeah. Still
It just
just
wasn't.
gold.
Yeah, just gold.
So you don't trade forex at all.
No, I used to do GBP USD, but it's just too. I think I've
Don't
I
say
spent
too
a year.
volatile. Don't say too volatile because you're trading gold.
No, I mean like it's not volatile enough.
Oh,
Um, so I spent a year trading US 30 and then I shifted into gold. I've been trading gold for like 3, 4 years. So I think just looking at forex pairs now for me just feels really, really. slow, you
So how
know.
do you, it's very fascinating for me because at the time where gold is so high, how do you make your analysis anymore? Is it just technical? Do
Whenever
you,
it's at all-time highs.
yeah, now that I feel like
So gold's
what,
primarily a bullish pair, so most of the times it's moving upwards. So if it's dropping, you just wait for a change of character where you can see, higher highs, higher lows, and then just look for it. I trade continuation, so I'm not trying to catch like the bottom or the top. I
yeah,
just, if it's bullish, I'll wait for a pullback into an area of liquidity and then just
far away
um
from being news.
yeah, but that's why I would focus more on lower time frames and get in and out in a few hours because like if
You
you if
can't
you
let it, yeah,
forget, it's just, yeah, it turns around so quickly, so often that I'd rather secure one,
yeah,
2% and then look for a new setup than try and hold a winner that's going to turn into a loser.
yeah.
So, how would you say that your trading approach has evolved over time? Have you been using this algo from the beginning, or did you have to, did you trade a certain way before?
Definitely the way I was trading before was much more all over the place. Now I settled
Yeah.
into one way because I believe most times when people tend to trade a lot are either in need of money or they wish onto making a lot of money. So the stage where I was before is not the stage that I'm at right now. So I don't I don't tend to chase so much trades. I can be just more acceptant of whatever I'm given compared to before. Whether now, for example, I can tell you GBP USD. Before I could have told you like Euro USD, GBP USD, and the USD. I will do them all because I will be scouting for everything I could find. So now
Yeah.
I'm just more stable, more patient in general. So the way I'm trading has been pretty similar from the beginning. The approach has changed into being more patient. Before it couldn't happen that I was opening the chart and I wouldn't open a trade. Now I can open a chart and maybe not open a trade. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
So I actually do look for the setup to show
Yeah.
up before than just imagining it in my mind is gonna happen like that and getting like hours before it would even start to resemble a setup. So
Yeah.
yeah, definitely patience has been the biggest difference in approach, but in terms of technical side, as it hasn't been that much difference. Because as I was telling
Yeah.
you at the beginning, like the less I knew before, it seemed to be even better than the more I got to learn. So
Yeah.
as you were saying before, like the most simplistic strategy can be working the best as long as they are coming with a mindset of calm.
Yeah. I feel like the first 2, 3 years, you feel like you're learning something new every day. And then after year three, you're kind of unlearning stuff
Yeah,
to
yeah,
try and find that consistency.
yeah.
So, how has your experience been with ThinkCapital so far?
It's very good. I haven't had any issue so far, apart the sudden realization that I wasn't able to manage all of those accounts at the same time. But I guess it was part of the rule, so I didn't read the rules
Yeah.
thoroughly. But in terms of the experience of the payouts and the spread, all of the little technical aspect of it, I haven't had any issue. It's whenever people like do tiers of the best prop firms out there at the moment, I can't tell you a difference between the best one, which I believe everybody considers to be FTMO and ThinkCapital, apart from the money transfer which happens in crypto, which again doesn't bother me.
Yeah. We'll
Anybody?
get bank transfer soon. It's in the works.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. We're getting it
I think I've
sorted. Yeah.
seen you. I think I've seen you in the video actually talking about it. Was it you?
Yeah.
It
That's
was
why I
you.
know. 'Cause I
Um,
done the video.
it was a long time ago that video. It was
Yeah, yeah.
a
That
few
was,
months ago.
yeah.
You've been working for
No.
Think Capital for a while.
Since the end of last year, I think. Wait. 4 months, 5 months.
How you finding it?
Yeah, good. Is this your interview or mine?
I don't know. I always,
Maybe on the spot.
whenever I see podcasts, I always feel like if I was the interviewed, I would be asking more questions than what I get asked. I'm more of a curious
Yeah,
person than and am the one wanting to talk about
yeah,
my personal things. If I'm not
yeah.
allowed to ask questions, I will stop them.
No, you're fine. Don't worry. So, what advice would you give to traders who are currently where you were, like when you started? So, just say they're struggling. They maybe haven't found an edge yet. They're struggling with patience. What advice would you give them?
I will make the same comparison that I did before, and it very much applies to the fitness industry.
Mm,
It does, and what people struggles the most in the journey in the gym is again is patience and not being able to stick to it for a long enough time. Long enough time. There was a guy that was saying the only trader that fails is the trader that quits.
yeah,
If you can manage to find a way without breaking every finance that you possess to stick to it and to stay within the trading world for long enough time, I feel like is physiological that people learn.
yeah,
Maybe it's not for everybody. Maybe it's not for everybody. But if there is a very deep passion and you are able to stick to it for long enough, I guess it's probably the best formula. You can't just let it go as soon as you start going wrong because you will go wrong, very wrong,
yeah,
for a very long time. And then it depends. There's people that gets it earlier, people that gets it later. Maybe I didn't get it myself yet, but seems to be going better every day by the things that you guys probably could have seen by the accounts that I've been managing and the one that I've been holding on to the side. But yeah, I guess sticking to it for a long enough time can make wonders.
yeah. I think sometimes as well, the progress is so slow that it's hard to recognize. So a lot of traders, including myself, like 6 months can pass and you feel like you're not progressing. But if you look back at your journals or your trade history, you can see that it gets a lot better. That's another reason why I like journals is to see how I've improved.
Um,
On days where you feel like it's just not working, I'm not getting anywhere, you look back and see, actually, I have improved a few things.
I,
So
pro-
it's encouraging.
I probably should consider starting journaling then.
Yeah, we'll get you back on a next interview and you can tell us all about your journal.
Fine.
Awesome. Well, that's all the questions I have for you. If there's anything you would like to add.
No, not this time. I'll wait
No.
for the next interview for some of
Yeah.
my question for you as well to see.
You can interview me next time.
There you go. There you go.
Awesome. Well, it was lovely chatting to you. I hope you have a great day and I'm sure we'll catch up soon.
And you, Claudia. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.